Hello and welcome to the nice guy. No, we have a nice guy, but this is not that podcast. Welcome to
One second, if you haven't seen Nice Guys, you should know I'm not on it, right? And go watch it because you'll see I'm not there, but he's talking about Nice Guys.
That's because it's not the Great Guys Motorcycle Club podcast. If it was, then Karthikeya would be an essential part of it. It's only the nice guys.
Yeah.
You are above that group.
But there was a fun conversation. If you guys haven't seen it, please check it out. It's his personal space in motoring with his friends. It's like just hanging out. You will enjoy it. Trust me on this.
We didn't intend to promote that. I honestly made a mistake.
I'm talking as a viewer.
Welcome to Disconnect season. Sorry. Welcome to MotorInc First.
Okay.
Karthikeya has been out where?
Go away.
The venue was Goa.
Yes, sir.
So Karthik was in Goa, the venue for the launch of the Hyundai Venue.
Yes, sir. The start of this story actually was perfect because this is a story, like how you see those memes on social. It's like, keep them guessing, never let them know your next move.
Yeah.
The story of the Hyundai Venue is kind of like that.
Oh, okay.
Seriously. Because before I went for this drive, background, right? So the Venue is this car that's almost been invisible in this sub 4 meter space, but it's been consistently
Selling well.
selling well.
Yep.
Right? It's that car. And I can tell you why.
It's a popular item on Hyundai's menu.
Yes, it is. So it is a popular item for many people buying sub 4 meter SUVs. And I think in a very strange way, it was a very un-Hyundai like car. Because if you look at its design, okay, after the facelift, the face became a little garish. But on the whole, from the rear, people would say it looks a bit polo-ish. It had a understatedness about it on the whole, right? Even on the inside. And it was such a nice surprise back then when the Venue came, the previous gen we're talking about, that the step up in plastics where they were simple, right? Not trying to look flashy, but they felt tasteful, felt long lasting, good to use. It was a step up from Hyundai. And the other thing that I remember about that car clearly was that Hyundai made a step up there with that generation with the suspension, because you went straight into the Venue and you drove it and you're like, this drives well.
Right.
And which was not normal for Hyundais back then.
Yep.
Right. And so this is like where the Venue was slightly invisible but a good capable car, and then you have the new generation come in, and the first thing that goes is, oh my god, what have they done? Right? In the pictures you look at it and you're like, please tell me that's not what it's going to look like, right? It just felt so shocking. I remember in one of the somewhere I read this, they should have kept it camouflaged. The internet is brutal.
Burn.
Right? So, and it really felt like there was so much going on with the way the car looked. And so there was one kind of a little bit of a step back saying that, I don't know where this is going.
Okay.
Right? And the second thing that came about was that when the details started coming out of the car, you see the dimensions and everything, and you realize it's become bigger, which is good news. But you're automatically in the space where you're saying, is this related to the Cirrus? Right?
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing.
Right.
And then more details come out, and you realize that it's moved from the platform that the Venue was on earlier.
Sonnetish.
Yeah. To now the K1 platform, which is Grand i10, which is Exter, which is Cirrus, right?
So
So all the cars that are known for being poor in terms of your backseat comfort, the suspension tune, and all of that, right? So it was like,
so you had a whole bunch of flags before you showed up for the event itself.
exactly. So I was like, so all the interest, and I like the Venue. I think it's a very sensible car. It has been. The big concern for people with the car has been that, the backseat is not very spacious, right? So in some ways, the new Venue was obviously aimed to fix that. But with all these changes coming in, you're wondering, is it worth it, all this upgradation, right? So, okay, land up at the event and you see the car in the flesh, and there's almost like this relief. Okay, it's not that bad, right? Okay, to be fair, it's fine. It's in the N line, guys. I think it kind of works. It looks nice in the N line, guys. And see, again, I'm saying nice because there are certain elements you keep thinking, I just wish that they were calmer. And I think this is one of the things that Hyundai, somewhere, which you will see in the rest of the story, is managing to do, but needs to do on the design front, where they don't try to go to the people, and they should get the people to come to them, right? in the sense, do less, make people question, do they like less or not, instead of doing more
Right.
and saying that we've done it, it should get people's attention.
Yep.
Because I think in many ways the car, the size that it is, the way it stands, all of that is good. But some of those details are just a little too much. Like in the face. Okay, the good stuff. When you see the car in the flesh, and when we where we were staying, so they had the whole fleet there. You couldn't tell which was immediately. You couldn't tell which was the Alcazar and which was the Venue
Okay.
because of the look, or the design for the face. It's very much like the Alcazar. It
Okay.
does seem like the Alcazar,
Hmm.
and it feels that wide as well. So
Okay.
it feels like a big grown-up car.
Right.
And in terms of dimensions, this Venue is bigger than the older car.
Hmm.
So it's taller, it's wider, its wheelbase is longer. Overall length is the same. It's still under 4 meters, right, in length. But in every other dimension, it has grown to become a bigger car. And obviously, the biggest thing to unlock was space on the inside.
Got it.
So when you see it, you suddenly realize that, oh, it does feel like a more substantial car. It doesn't feel like a smallish car now. It feels like a kind of
Bigger
full,
car.
yeah, bigger car. So in that regard,
So is that, just for reference, is it now the size of the old Creta?
no, because the Creta will be 4.3 meters, right?
Right.
So this is sub 4. But in terms
No,
of
not in length. The other dimensions.
I actually haven't compared that, but I don't think it'll be that
Okay.
big,
Got
right? It is obviously narrower than it for sure. It
Got
is not as wide, and that is one of the things about the car as well.
Understood.
Even in terms of backseat space, we'll talk about all these things. It's not going to go into Creta territory. That's not there. Okay, let's deal with this. What they have done, what they could have done versus what they have done, right? With that additional wheelbase being stretched out, the additional height, what they could have done is gone and focused entirely on the back seat, like in the Cirrus, right, where you get like that massive space in the second row,
Right.
the sliding second row, which you don't have here. What they've done is they've kind of tried to balance second row, the boot space, and the look of the car.
Okay.
Which is why the Cirrus looks that boxy, right?
Yep.
For it to get that volume space everywhere,
Right.
it had to have that shape.
Right.
So they wanted this to still look SUV, and therefore that's the compromise they would have made to come at this. So what you get in the backseat of the Venue now is usable space for adults. It is fine. But are you going to say it's wow in terms of space there now suddenly because it's a bigger car? No, you're not there either.
Okay.
That is something you'll feel in the Cirrus for sure, that space. That you're not going to get over here.
Got it.
So while they may be related in terms of their platform and similar in terms of size, but just for the record, the Cirrus's wheelbase is even longer, right? It's a really tall, boxy car, so it opens up a lot of space on the inside, which in the Venue is not the same kind of space.
Understood.
It's a usable, functional backseat now for the adults in the second row, for sure.
And the children are driving?
In what way?
If the adults are sitting in the back?
Adults still in the front, right? Children drive, that'll be good because there's something over there as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the first curveball about the design aspect of it, which was just like la 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 la, and then you're like, okay, it's not bad, but I think they need to snap out of that because we've seen this like with the Ioniq 5, which is honestly for anybody who likes design and good looking cars will always talk about the Ioniq 5, saying that, man, what a great looking car.
Right.
And which erred on the cautious side of
it's not a flashy car.
Correct.
And you notice it because it's not flashy.
It's just like I always think about that one slash down the side which is in metal and how that just changes the play of light on that car, right? And it's fantastic. Anyways, so this is a little OTT in terms of the design, but at least it won't put you off like in the pictures it could. So if you've looked at it in pictures and thought that, man, this is overdone, check it out in person, see it in the flesh. It's not as dramatic as it looks like in pictures.
Good.
Okay. So that's the design. N-Line and this are roughly the same. There are a few cosmetic details, differences in the grille.
Let me get some red line somewhere.
There you go.
Dude, I know my cars, okay?
And they get like a exhaust, dual tip exhaust. It's just a tip, that's it. So fundamentally the same cars, right? Under the hood, if we just cover that, because that's the easy stuff, what we have to get over there. The engines are the same. The 1.2 liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine, which is the base engine that's been on this car. that continues as is. You have the turbo petrol that continues as is, and you have the diesel which continues as is, except now you also get the diesel automatic combination which was not there earlier. So that in powertrains is one of the changes. Okay, so we'll roll with that now because that's the other curve ball over here. Because if you remember in the Cirrus, the diesel auto had felt, how should I put it, not impressive. Because this engine has been impressive. Remember that this is the engine from the Creta, from the Seltos. It's the 1.5 four-cylinder diesel, which has always been smooth, easy to drive,
Yep.
right? And suddenly it comes in the Cirrus, and it felt so annoying, right? With the automatic. No, it's just because it feels lethargic, then it comes on, and it's like you don't really get into a sync with it, right? And this has been one of their, like, let's say Hyundai Kia, for them, one of their strengths. It was a good, friendly diesel in this space.
Yep.
Right?
And yeah, and if I remember correctly, you said on the Creta that if you're driving long distances, consider the diesel automatic. It will turn out to be a very nice package.
Exactly. And it's always been such an impressive combination also. And so it was like, oh, they've introduced it here, but what's the point, right? That was something I think even Hyundai was kind of concerned about, that it has to drive well. And as it turns out, the good thing is that it drives well. This engine,
Oh, you're just winding us up to this point.
that's exactly what I went through. So I was just like,
oh, you're sharing your misery with us.
So I was like, I went like, no, who wants to? And that was my first car that was allocated to me, the diesel automatic. I was like, why? Why can't I start with the turbo petrol instead, right? So I started with the diesel automatic. That was my first car of the day. And I got in and I was like, okay, let's just get this over with. And you start driving and immediately you can feel, like immediately there's a perception that says that, no, this is not the same, right?
Got it.
It feels different. In fact, it feels lively. So yeah, it's a car that you then end up enjoy driving.
Nice.
So it has that old feel that that you would appreciate. It has that. So that was another one of those curveballs that went, thankfully, kind of corrected itself. But in this story, there's one thing that continues to be a concern. And with diesels, anybody looking to buy diesels has to weigh this up. Do your own homework. Don't take my word for it. But we are noticing more and more that efficiency is going down with diesels. And this seems to be happening sharper now. We do not know why.
Okay.
Right? Even on my drive with this car, in which I drove it 100 kilometers and combined all the venues that we drove over 200 kilometers. The diesel I spent the most amount of time with. The efficiency was under 12. Yeah. And while this is, yeah, it sounds ridiculous. Okay, fair bit. I drove a fair amount in the city, in the Goa's by lane, slow speeds, did a little bit of the highway, drove hard, did all of that. So it's mixed usage. But this kind of a figure is not what I would have expected.
From a diesel, no.
Yeah, in this scenario either. All right. So I'm raising this as a flag. We've said it. We will check this out when we get the cars here to test. But this is a question mark that you need to keep in mind and weigh up for yourself before you decide on which fuel you're going to go for, right? For your next car. Just keep that in mind. The good thing is the diesel was drivable, strong. The question mark remains the efficiency aspect of it. The second thing about this car then became about the suspension, right? Because Cirrus was like a complete confused cat. Well, this is it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
This is not. So I drove the turbo DCT right after this. And what you realize is that the car, through all kinds of road conditions, remains really well balanced. The difference between the diesel and the petrol is the difference in the weight. So you feel a little bit little bit more sharpness in the diesel because of the additional weight of the engine, the gearbox, and all of that. Whereas in the turbo petrol and dual clutch, it's a lighter car, so it feels a little bit lighter and it is softer in that initial when it goes through a bump and stuff like that. So it's just that kind of a difference. So the balance between the diesel and the petrol is still a good balance.
Nice.
It even, like, I went to the point of picking the worst bits to get the suspension to feel off, like, which meant like a pothole with a nice sharp edge.
Nice. So you couldn't find a venue where the Venue suspension said, "That's it. I don't know what to do with
It was
this."
hard. It was hard to do that. And in this, there is one larger theme for me which comes through, that if this is the trajectory that Hyundai is on in terms of how they're engineering their platforms and how they're doing the suspensions, they are on a they are something to watch out for. All the more so because these were their traditional
Weaknesses.
shortcomings,
Yep, you're right.
right? These were things that they seem to just struggle with endlessly. But now we are seeing consistently, we've especially seen it with the EVs from the Hyundai Kia family, right? The Creta EV, the Clavis EV. We're seeing them make big steps. And now we're seeing this on ICE as well, right? Where you just get in and drive it and it works.
Nice.
And it works in a way that you just say that, yeah, I mean, I we'll get to this part again later.
Okay.
And the second reason for that, by that I mean why this saying that watch out for Hyundai, is because of the step that they made in the cabin.
अच्छा क्या किया?
वही किया जो किया करता है वो Hyundai ने थोड़ा किया. So traditionally Kia has been like these specialists, and somehow they always pull off something a little bit special in terms of how they end up creating this premium feel out of plastic and just finishes which are, I'm guessing, not so hard to access for major manufacturers, right? But they managed to make something special out of it. And this time, Hyundai has done the same. I'm not going to say it's at the same level as what Kia does, but you can see in places there are those flashes which are just like, yeah, that feels like, that feels special. The whole thing coming together is a good step up, but is it at the Kia level? I don't think so. But there is a new generation experience in this cabin now.
Okay.
That we are seeing with the Venue. This feels like a new generation, start of a new generation of Hyundai.
Okay.
It's in the design, in the cabin, not on the outside. In the cabin, it's to do with the kind of colors they're using. There's the seats. The first car, the diesel that you'll see, has these creamy white and blue, like a navy blue combination for the seats. Looks good. The seats, the cushioning of it, all of that also feels like a new generation experience, right? It looks smooth and simple, but nice to sit in. In this regard, the one thing I felt was, I don't know, again, this wheel cross check, I thought that the lumbar support was a little strong for me.
Okay.
But it could be, and this is a caveat I'll put there, and maybe I was tired because I'd done a couple of days outdoors and then come in here straight. So maybe that, but we'll check. I think the lumbar support on the front seats is a little too strong. But anyways, the point is that the experience has taken a step up. And if this is what you can expect from future Hyundais, they're setting a high benchmark, right?
So which variant did you drive out of the 92 variants that will come for this car?
Ah, my God.
You were driving the top variants only, I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I only drove the top variant because, see, what did I drive? I drove the diesel automatic, top spec. Drove the turbo petrol, top spec. They did have a turbo petrol manual, but I didn't have time to drive that because I also had to drive the N line. So we had three cars anyways to go through. The manual would have been in a lower variant.
Got it.
Which we did not sample. Anyways, so yeah, and okay, since you brought up the variants, Hyundai is gone. I think one of the other thing that was great pre seeing the car, I mean, one of the good things that was good was that they've gone away from that SX, SXO, and this and that, and whatever the nomenclature was for the
No, are you
variants.
serious?
So now it's just HX, baby.
Everything is HX.
HX 2, 4, 6, 8, 7, 10, 20, 25. I don't know. Basically, there are too many variants.
So the numbers first appeared on the N lines, right? Where there was 8 and 10.
Yeah, correct.
So now the others one also will have numbers. Hyundai wide, or this is starting with the Venue and
This
wheels?
started with the Venue. So I'm guessing they'll do it for each new model.
Yes, because
that
the
comes out.
S plus executive, SXO, S plus executive O, SX night, SX tech, SX. I was like, dude, what the hell? How is anybody going to parse this? I suddenly the pure and privilege and prestige started to make sense.
Oh my god. But he's right, because I was going through the variants before we got into this conversation. I was just like, man, this is just such a mess.
Yeah.
Because you have this engine and this gearbox combination available only in this one, which is will be the base, and then the mid spec, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And then you have one variant in which everything is available, which is the HX5. And then you're like, do you want the HX5 or the HX6? But I can't have it with the automatic.
HX5 is a Tata platform, no?
H5X.
H5X, my mistake.
So it's still, I mean, the names have become simpler, but picking a variant and finding the right combination for you is going to be a challenge. That is going to remain. Okay, so the cabin, in terms of the finishes, in terms of the overall aesthetic, looked rich.
Nice.
It felt premium. And now straight away, if you think about it, you take the Sonnet and you take this. This feels like now this is the segment benchmark. Right?
Oh.
But Sonnet is also
At the end of its, yeah.
right. So it's this is obviously the new car, so all right. But it is a big step. Anybody who experiences this, and that was the interesting thought that came out of this. This size of car with this kind of a cabin experience actually to me feels like enough for most people, because traditionally you went and bought a bigger car, let's say, because it would feel more premium on the inside.
Right.
It would feel richer, you would feel classier, it would feel more
So
sophisticated.
Seltos Creta.
Right? This car makes you question, why do I need to?
Got it.
Right? Which is awesome. That's how it should be. I should be able to get a car in every size which caters to the different needs and mindsets, right? Saying that, and now you have the sub 4 meter car which says that, good, this doesn't feel like a compromise. And it doesn't feel like a compromise in the way it rides. It doesn't feel like a compromise in the kind of equipment. Yeah, so equipment wise, you have two 12.3-inch screens now, of course.
Bus.
And the infotainment screen.
Bus.
So good, like they didn't bring the third one from the Syros. Since you reminded me, I'd forgotten about that. But yeah, they didn't bring that in, thankfully. They have proper physical buttons and the best layout of the Cretas and this and that for your infotainment separate, aircon separate. So everything is easy and quickly accessible. Lovely. So great. Highlight for me on the car, definitely from as a driver, was the steering wheel. It just looks good. It's nice and chunky. It's not light and it's nicely wrapped. It really looks and feels premium.
Right.
So this cabin definitely hit a sweet spot. On the road, the suspension helped that along. The sound insulation again felt good, and so that kind of locked in your in-cabin experience. This whole thing with the design for the cabin, the way the suspension's working, the way the diesel was working, the sound insulation, everything. It's locking in a premium experience in the cabin, which is good.
Right.
Right. And in that regard, the one bit of criticism that the Venue will receive, and deserves it also, is that it's expensive. The higher variants are like 15.5 lakh rupees ex showroom, which is a lot of money. And even if you compare the turbo petrol to what the car was earlier, it's a couple of lakhs up, right? It's a bigger car. It's better equipped. It's better finished. All of that. So it's justified, but it is still a lot of money for the car. For this, generally, if you think about it, for this size of car, right? So that is a criticism that it will receive, and you will. The saving grace for this Venue is the Syros, because the Syros is just a bit more expensive. And yeah. So the Syros, so you look at the Venue and the Syros. This happened like before going for the drive. You're looking at the Syros and looking at the Venue and look at the prices, and you're like, oh, it's only 30 or maybe 60,000 depending on the variant, the engine gearbox combination. It's 30,000 or 60,000 rupees cheaper than the Syros, and you're like, oh, it should have been, the gap should have been more. And then you drive it and you're like, yeah, it's okay. This is, at least if you were to spend that kind of money on a car between these two, at least this is a good car to be in and to travel in, right? So diesel, auto, signed off, given you the concerns around that. Turbo petrol, again, good to see that this tune for drivability is nice. I've had some people ask me, didn't you feel that the gearbox was slow, right? The dual clutch. And I think the distinction I want to make is that this is a turbo petrol engine. It will have some lag. So that initial phase when you're accelerating, you do get a little bit of that lag. It's not the dual clutch. I don't think the dual clutch is the issue anymore. It is the engine's character, what it is. But once you get rolling, you find that the drivability is fine.
Okay.
Is it an exciting engine? It never was. It was powerful enough. It's not like when you rev it out, suddenly it becomes fizzy and fun and like that. It's not that kind of an engine. It has the performance to get you along quickly. It still does that, right? So it's a good engine. And I think it's the best pick in this family.
Okay.
Right? Because of the diesel's question mark. And of course, diesel generally, whatever's going on. And the 1.2, the base one, is a very, let's say, cost-effective engine to buy. It's a 4-cylinder, it's smooth, it's easy to drive, all of that. But it's a dull engine. And I feel like a car should have a longer life and wider usability, and the engine will kind of cap that out. So that's why the turbo petrol becomes our default recommendation. And with both the engines, when we drove them, we realized that the chassis works so well with the suspension. So that same road, again, this is why that third step of why Hyundai to watch out for. The ability to deal with speed was so impressive. And that section is downhill, has nice curves, and it has bumps either right before the curves or right in the middle of the curves, so it can really, really upset the car. And this made it feel like no drama only.
Nice.
No drama. So it was just, you're like, yeah, okay, let's get on with it. So and I'm telling you, I remember a time when this was the Verna, I think, when the Verna had come, the first, that duck-eyed kind of thing, whatever, that odd-eyed Verna, wherein it almost killed you trying to just go around a normal turn at regular speed. It was so poor in terms of its suspension. We're talking 20 years ago, but that's where the story really, you can think of it, right? From being dangerous to being acceptable to being incredible now. It's a big journey that has, I mean, big steps that have been taken.
Understood.
And you're seem to be hitting a really high level now, right? Criticism, if we have to praise it so much, also is, could it have had a little bit more softness in it? Could have. It would have then been like, there would have been nothing further for me to complain about this. But in this driving experience, I will say this, that right now in my head, I cannot tell whether, I said the C3 last time you did the rapid fire, the C3, great handling, Kylac, great handling, Venue, great handling. And if I think about it, I think in terms of ability, the Venue will be right there, if not
above them. Oh, but look, I'm hearing all of this, but you're not saying this was a fun car to drive.
Steering.
Oh, okay.
The steering was the thing that kind of left you alone. Yeah. So at low speeds, the steering weight is fine. It's good. It's a nice balance. But the funny thing was that the faster that you go, that felt lighter. And it felt more distant because of it.
Okay, got it.
So it's not that it's inaccurate. Never did you feel that, oh, I have to correct or stuff like that. It's tracking. Everything is fine. But you're just alone. It's just like, yeah, it's doing its thing.
So it's AI powered in that sense.
Yeah.
The faster you go, the more AI power
maybe
comes
if
into
you had
it.
buttons, you'd be just, I mean, it would work just as well, right?
Got it.
So
if you play GT5, drive the new Hyundai Venue on GT5 and have force feedback turned off, you'd get the exact experience.
So, and even in my notes, I wrote this, that I think in terms of ability, it's right up there, but it doesn't create the same emotions. Not even close. Like you will look at its handling, you will see what it does and says, wow, I'm impressed. Right? But will you say, wow, I'm like, whoa, this is like, I'm so excited about it. I'm excited by what they've unlocked. But is it saying that, hey, let's go out and drive more and drive harder? No, you're like, yeah, I know it'll do it, right?
N-line?
N-line. So the official line in places is that the N-line is mechanically identical to the
Suspension also this time.
that's the official line. I guess I'm completely wrong because the N-line suspension is not the same.
Okay.
We took the N-line, which was obviously the turbo petrol with the dual clutch, and the standard turbo petrol dual clutch out together, and had the opportunity to drive them together. They're not the same. Are they dramatically different? No, they're not. I think it's again a very nice place to be where somebody can get into an N line and drive it and say that, yeah, this is the same. Okay, it's so what it's doing is it's not creating any sharp differences in the way it rides and drives, but it is different. And I'll explain it to you like this because we could drive the two cars back to back. So at low speeds, when you're driving over broken roads, in the N line, you'll be
got it. Okay.
right.
Yeah.
And here in the regular car, you'll be softer over it. But as you go a little bit faster, or let's say if the roads get worse, in the standard car with a slightly softer suspension, you'll have the larger movements, right? Because then you're getting rocked around a bit. Whereas this then is more controlled.
Got it.
Okay? What that does is, in effect, as a driving enthusiast, what is it going to do for you? In corners, where in the regular car you'd want to brake a little bit earlier, where you'd feel that the car is rolling and pushing a bit, pushing wide. In the N line, you just flow.
Right.
It just goes. So it's just that added smoothness in the ability to carry speed, which makes it subtly different and more enjoyable. It's almost like, let's say, you could think of it as having food with salt. We're just used to it. But you take the salt out of the equation, and suddenly the food is a completely different experience. Right. So if you've just been driving the N line and then you switch to the regular car, it'll just feel like it's the same, I know, but it's different.
Got it.
It doesn't have the same maza in it, right? So that's how I would.
And the steering is not improved.
No, the steering is not improved. Oh, good thing you brought up the steering, because the one difference in the N line on the inside is the steering, which is again a really good looking steering, like really good looking. Like it just does feel international in these bits and pieces that it has. And talking about international, now we'll some of the details, like the screens. They have the new UI, which is also good.
I'm sure they have a name for it, Karthik. What is the name of this new UI?
I have no idea, man. I'm sorry. If they had it, I missed it. But it's that, how we say, like a little bit more minimalistic, not cleaner. So that kind of look and feel to the driver's instrument cluster, which is there. Infotainment system, and this of course gets that the top spec variants with the dual digital screens, they get that God knows how many computers inside, OTA updates, so that all the computers can be updated over the air and stuff like that. So all that bit of tech has also come in. The N line also gets one thing extra over the regular Venue. Correct. So ADAS. No, no, wait, this is funny because there's ADAS now with the Venue, and so the N line gets a rear ADAS module, so therefore it can do some of the additional features which use the rear radar. And I was just like, why? I mean, the one thing I'd want on the N line is an option to say no ADAS required. But yeah.
So rear radar, apart from blind spot detection, does what?
It's that when you're reversing, it does that warning thing if there's another vehicle coming and all whatever the names are.
Oh, so there's not that feature that I really wanted. If there's a person in a Creta behind you and they flash you, then the Venue speeds up and says, I'm not going to let him pass. So what if he has a Creta?
Interfamily rivalry, yeah.
Interfamily, I don't know. I'm saying that if the forward radar can say, oh my God, that guy's stopping, let me apply emergency brakes, then you should also have a system that says, you think that guy's going to overtake me? No freaking way. Speed up a little bit more, no?
Yeah. Automated, what?
Automated overtaking avoidance system.
Oh,
मेरी आवाज सुनो, मुझे ये सिस्टम चाहिए.
Aside from that, what are the other feature differences? I don't remember what it is between the inline and the regular car, but this was one thing that caught my attention.
Let me guess, black interiors with
Oh,
red piping.
yeah. Obviously.
More bolsters on the side of the seat,
No,
maybe? No,
no,
that's too much. That's too much.
Nothing like that. Steering, all black interior. And yeah, this is one of those things I think we should just get over. That sporty cars don't have to have a black interior.
Hey, how can you say that?
No, I mean,
Sporty cars have two levels. One is black interior, next is Alcantara black interiors. That's just two levels.
otherwise it's not sporty. Okay, so because the black, it works. The car looks nice, but I think it's better in the other shade. And now that we're talking about it, the dashboard has this creamish white plastic with some flakes in it and stuff like that. It looks nice, and so I kind of like that. In black, you don't get any of that. It's just like black. Okay, one thing in the driving experience that absolutely it's come to me now, which is strange, but it's definitely worth highlighting. The brakes. The calibration of the brakes was like low speeds. You're using a light foot, you get the right amount of braking, right? You're going faster, and now you're going for harder braking, and you realize that the bite is so strong, it's so sure and adjustable. So it's not like it just goes cut, like which used to be a thing with Hyundai's at one time, right? It would just go tuck.
Yep.
It's not like that. You actually can measure and just feed in the right amount of braking that you want, and it made the car feel so good because of that. I really.
So how did they mess up the steering?
I have no idea, and they were surprised when I said the steering was like said it felt lighter when you went faster. I was like, yeah, and in all three cars.
Maybe it's because you become more muscular now and you're like used to
You're
using
the
more
one who's-
force. I'm not muscular. I'm a skinny guy.
So this was those brakes. I can't forget. Though in that again, we must bring up one thing that's not great. The calibration was slightly off at low speeds, which means like over light bumps, slightly broken things. It would go into the ABS mode, so it would just go. Like, yeah, for this, it would just feel a little bit odd. But yeah, that was something. Did it get in the way? No, it's just that something that would keep registering that why did it do it here?
No, and sometimes when you have a very, very impressive system, then when it sort of drops that level of being impressive, then suddenly it feels like a big event. Oh, come on, how could you miss this?
Yeah. So, brakes, yeah, I should have said that earlier because that kind of brought the whole driving experience together on the suspension, the handling, the chassis. But the steering is let down, which is why it felt so great as well. So the back seat is clearly for two, even now, right? Because it's not that wide. And even though you could squeeze in two, you see the way the seats are shaped. They're scooped out. There's a little bit of hump in the middle. So which means the guy sitting in the middle is going to be a little pushed forward. There's no headrest for the middle passenger either. They're conscious of the fact that the space in the back is not so much, which is why the top spec variants in the seat bag don't even have pockets. It's just the seat back is scooped out just to make sure that the sense of space feels good.
So how about, you know how you want to sit in the front, you say shotgun. You want to sit in the middle of the back row, you go whiplash.
Yeah, that's effectively. I think it's a clear message that it's meant to be a four-seater. So anybody sitting there means small kids because you do have a three-point seat belt, but that means the head is supported by the backrest itself. You don't want anybody sticking up over that.
Right.
So that's the back seat. That's the compromise with the back seat as well. So it's not going to be as large as you may have imagined it to be. But for four, which is two adults in the back, it's absolutely usable. Headroom and all is fine. The windows are large. The rear door in this, all of this, the back seat access has improved. The door is large. The window is large. There's even a quarter glass at the back in the C pillar. So it just opens up that sense of space there. You have sun blinds. So if you want to use this as a family car and accept that this is not going to be super wide and that two adults and a child in the back is possible and that's fine, it will work. Boot space is quoted 375 liters. I'm just eyeballing it. I think 375 is a believable number for that. It is a fairly healthy boot. In the pictures, you'll see a suitcase, which I usually don't use. It's a larger suitcase, a mid-size kind of suitcase. Usually I have an overnighter. So that's a bigger suitcase that's sitting over there. And you can see how much space there is available as well.
Got it.
So yeah, practicality has also improved overall, making it a better family car. And I think, in summary, while it is a better venue in so many ways, the question that I'm left with is, when I'm spending 15 lakh rupees on a Hyundai, what is to say that I won't pick the Creta instead?
Which has already started by the time you get to 15 lakh rupees.
Yeah, yeah. At the Creta, last time when we spoke about the Basalt and the Aircross, we said that there is one at 13.3 lakhs, which is with the CVT automatic transmission, right? You're not going to get as many features in that, but it's a more full car, right,
Yeah.
for the family. And with the CVT and the naturally aspirated engine, again, I have always found that the efficiency of that is better
Correct.
than the turbo petrols, and even the smaller turbo petrol, it will give it a run for its money. So it's a very practical combination, and continues to be something that I will weigh up when I'm making a decision. And whether you're in this space or not, you should also think about that before you decide, right? And it underlines how strong that product is, continues to be even today. What remains for the Venue is sound system. Bose again, and they say, okay, new generation, this, that, and all of that. Like, one of the things which often in cars you can't do, especially on our roads, especially when you're driving in Goa where that concrete is the way it is. Can you turn the volume down and enjoy the music? So it's almost like it's playing in the background, but you can hear everything clearly.
Nice.
Okay. So really, in many ways, big step up, and surprisingly good in many ways, which is why, to see what comes next from Hyundai, all the more interest. Uh, but fundamentally, the price, the efficiency, and the question of why not the Creta will be the things that will hamper the Venue's ability to.
But you see no reason why the steady, let's call it subtle success of the Venue will not continue.
The price point might hurt
Okay.
that, because one of the things was that it was more affordable. See, at the lower end of the spectrum, the prices have gone up only about 30,000-40,000 rupees, right? So it's not that much more, for which you're getting a lot more car.
Sure.
Not only is it bigger, and with the bigger, sorry, we didn't get into it. This is the K1 platform. They call it something else, but fundamentally, it is a heavier platform because it's meant to meet uh, the 5-star requirement, of course. So what were we talking about?
You last spoke
The
about the
value aspect.
value aspect.
Value aspect is what we were talking about. So that will be a question. You can get the diesel, the turbo petrol, and the base NA engine in the base variant, and which will, for the diesel, will end up being 10 something lakhs, something like that, in that region. So not really inexpensive at that point, right? It's not inexpensive. So somebody who wants a frugal car, a budget-oriented car, has many more options, right? So I think there is a little bit of catch that it's playing in. But let's see, as you get into the newer gen products where everybody has to kind of step up, where does it sit then? Is the question.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when the Sonnet arrives.
Yeah.
The Syros suspension update should arrive.
Syros, yeah. So
Kia's cycle is 18 months, you told me, roughly,
yeah,
for the suspension to get fixed.
yeah, and the Syros EV will come, which will also somewhere land up in this space.
Will there be a Venue EV also?
I think yes, that will also be there. I think they had said that they'll have a small EV, which I guess will be this one.
Okay. Quick summary time.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's make this a quick summary of the Hyundai Venue because Karthik has spent over 40 minutes telling us what's going on with the car. But I think we can really scrunch it down. Okay. First, the platform on which the Venue used to be based has changed. That's the most important thing you need to know about that side of it. And this is now the same platform that sort of powers the Syros and a various selection of other Hyundais. But in some context, we've taken this as a bad thing, but in the Venue's context, it actually turned out to be a really impressive thing because you will be surprised, as Karthikeya was, how well the car drives overall. The brakes are fantastic. He's been singing praises of it. I think he's overdone it a little bit. Tell me in the comments if you think there was just too much praise for Venue's brakes. I mean, come on. Suspension is really good. And he thought that the balance of how the suspension was set up, front to rear and across the petrol, the diesel and the N-line, that balance has also been amazing, to the point where he said, if Hyundai continues to make platforms feel like this, they're going to achieve something very, very special with their cars if they keep going down this road. What he did not enjoy so much was the steering, which he said it does its job, but it's not super precise, super feelsome. So you don't feel as connected to that experience as you might when you take the car around the corner and say, wow, it does that so easily and so naturally. Or the brakes, wow, so much feedback. That kind of wow factor is missing from the steering. And in that sense, from the chassis side and how you'll feel as you drive your Venue, there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect. Staying inside the cabin, Kartikeya says the cabin experience is really stepped up. One of the things Hyundai has done is created more space in the second row. Don't assume that that means three people in the second row. It just means if you're two adults sitting in the back, which could be a little bit cramped on the old Venue, that's no longer an issue. But these are scooped out seats. They're clearly designed as two people seats, and there's a hump in the middle. So whoever's sitting in the middle is going to suffer a little bit, but it is definitely an improvement over the previous Venue. Boot numbers look very good. It looks like a large usable boot. We'll establish the detail on that when the car comes here for testing. Front row, you're going to see a completely new dash layout, twin screens, new software. All of it definitely says this Venue just leveled up to the point where he's saying as much as the Sonnet is on its way out and a facelift for the Kia should come, that's the car that set the benchmark for cars like this in terms of the premiumness of the cabin experience. For a Hyundai, from coming from the previous Venue to this one, this is a huge level up. I do have some context here. I have a friend whose father-in-law was looking for a car and they ended up with a Venue because he found his 60 plus, 70 plus maybe, and his approach to it was, this is the least complicated cabin and therefore I find it easy to drive this car. And when he drove the Sonnet, he said, wow, that's a lot of buttons. Right, and from that perspective, this Venue retains separate controls, physical controls for the air conditioning, for the sound system. There is a more minimalist new UI, and it really sets the tone for both being premium and very, very clear as a combination. That's a good thing. The last two things that remain is value for money, which I'll come to last, and the other one is design. In the pictures, this car does look a lot flashier than it is in the flesh. Kartikeya went there like, oh God, and he said, no, it's not so bad. So this is a flashier car than the last one for sure. There is a very strong resemblance with the Alcazar from the front, which is not necessarily an automatically a bad thing, but it's not as flashy as it looks. So if you've always valued the Venue as an understated car, they have overstated the case a little bit, but it's not outrageously overstated. You may be okay. Go take a look in the flesh rather than keep examining the pictures. Final point, value. This car has become more expensive. Now, at the bottom of the range, this is 30,000 rupees more or something like that. May not be a big deal. For that money, you do get a much more interesting car, lot more equipment, lots more premium features, etc. But at the top end, you're looking at 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees more per variant, equal to equal. And at that point, you might wonder, is the step up really worth the money? Especially because there are value versions of the Creta that actually sit under those prices. And you might wonder, if I trade away some of the features, but I get a much larger car, would that be a better trade-off instead? Third thing he pointed out, also part of the value equation, fuel economy numbers have been falling. Part of it is the emissions, part of it is how the cars are being designed to meet crash test norms, which is making them heavier. He drove the diesel automatic, loved it, which was not the case with the Syros, for example, but in the process also saw that his mixed driving, some aggressive driving, some just testing, small roads, 12 kilometers per liter, which from a diesel is not great. So there is a little bit of working out of, does the Venue really fit into your plan well and think this through? Maybe the diesel is not the right solution. In terms of driving, he drove the three cars. He felt they were all okay. The diesel felt very nice and he was a little apprehensive because on the Syros, the diesel automatic was not. Here, it drives well enough. It does everything. He never brought it to the point where he said this is going to be a fun car to drive. It always remains a competent, you're not going to question it. Turbo petrol with the DCT. The turbo petrol DCT also drives well. Again, not necessarily a fun car. There was some concern about, can it be a little bit herky-jerky or does the transmission feel slow because there's a turbo? He says, yeah, but you get used to it. Once you get used to it, you won't notice any difference. And on the N-Line, it's the same thing, but on the N-Line, the suspension is just slightly firmer, which gives that car a little bit more control if you're driving a little bit harder. That's the only difference there is.
I realized while you were talking, there are two things that I missed out on.
Right.
Backseat. For taller members, I think that under-thigh support will be a slight concern because what I found was the seat was a little bit flat. So usually Hyundai, kind of angle the seat bases just to make sure that there's better comfort, which is not the case here. It felt a little bit flat, and that was something I couldn't kind of put off. So for somebody smaller like me, like it's fine. But if you're taller, that you might feel that over longer distances. And okay, at this point, I'm going to say it happened. So last time around, when we were doing QFCs, we tackled a lot of the things which may have been missed because there's just so much to talk about. So if you are watching this on YouTube, come to the app and catch up over there with this conversation. It's likely to be at least 15-20 minutes longer as of now, I think, in which we'll be dealing with a lot of the nuances and questions that have been raised on Circles by the people who are there, the MotorInc fam.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add a lot of the verses stuff happens in the questions from Circles, but we are going to go ahead and move into the end of the video if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're watching on app, here comes the questions from Circles. I remember saying that about 36 or 48 hours in, the Basalt had 60 comments, 92. We're not going to do 92 comments, there is no way.
We're done. Alrighty then.
There was a lot of the Kailac and Sonnet and all that, so I've skipped through what I think we'd covered already.
Works.
All right. What's next?
What's next? Oh, yeah. We have the Mahindra 9S.
9S?
7S? 9S?
I don't know.
9S. 9S.
Oh, okay.
Then we have the Sierra. Ice. Following which are the Harrier and Safari.
Ice. I see.
Yeah. And then we have the e-Vitara. So from now till mid-December and there's something else also happening mid-December. So we've got lots happening in this phase. We may have something else also. VinFast might do something. We don't know. We're still waiting. A lot of you have asked about VinFast. We also reached out to them. And they said, do you want to come to Vietnam? We are doing a visit there. And no, we want the cars here.
Yeah.
Right. So we're holding on for that. As of now, they're not giving out cars from the dealerships because that's something that we could have done if they were available here.
Right.
Instead of waiting for when the media drives happen. But that is not locked in.
Are the cars being delivered to customers already, the VinFasts?
You know what? I think yes. From what I do know is that a school friend of mine, he's booked the VF7. And so he reached out to me saying that, hey, what do you want me to, do you think I can just go for it? I said, honestly, I can't tell you anything because I've not even seen the car.
Yeah.
Forget about driving it, right? So I told him that we might be driving it in the first week of December. So he said that works out okay because somewhere around mid-December is when he's expecting to get the car, something like that. So I think deliveries have started, but it's not like full pace.
Got it. That's it?
As of now.
Only?
Bas sir, aap bataiye.
Only like 2 cars a week through December?
I'll have to take it easy.
I'm in the same place as last time. So when we last recorded, I said I'm headed to Motorverse. That probably means that this is airing while I'm at Motorverse, so it makes no difference that way. I have an invitation for a Harley Davidson thing, which is most likely the 440 thing. I might have a hiccup with my driving license. I'm not sure whether I'm going or not.
Okay.
Because I'm turning 50, my license is expiring. I've applied for the replacement, and it says pending since about 20 days at this point. I have 10 days to get that license, and another 10 days before the Harley event. So I might have an enforced 10, 15, 20 day break from riding because there's no license. We'll see. So I'm supposed to be going for the 440 event, but we'll see.
So I guess in that time, the adventure can be borrowed.
No, yeah, of course. Anytime you want. No, I have full faith in MH03. I think my license will come on time, but we'll see.
While you're talking, I just remembered, actually, we've got our first invite for January 2026 also.
That's next year, no? We'll deal with it next year.
That is also coming.
It's a year away, Karthik.
Next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay.
Yeah, what else is happening as we record this today? Today is.
Hey, listen, what about all these, the Yamaha, the XSR?
We are in chase for the test bikes, but we don't have confirmations on when they are coming. Yamaha typically has test bikes right at the beginning for sure. Later, they might.
So something might happen.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Okay.
And I should remind you, we just released a total of 3,000 videos plus since we came out, and that is important because today, as we record this, we are precisely 3 years old. Today is the 3rd anniversary.
Who wants to see another reboot? Come on, man. 3 years is a long time. We're ready for another.
Yeah, okay, go watch reboot.
Okay, again, coming from the comments, XSR was something that people asked a lot about, and also the UV, whatever the
X47. They are saying that there may be test bikes in Mumbai. They're checking, and they will let us know.
Okay, cool. So now you know. I mean, since everybody's
we don't have confirmations on those.
Alrighty then.
Right? Anything else? All right. That was a fairly long discussion on a relatively short car because it's sub 4 meters. I can make that joke. But it is an interesting car. It's an interesting step up, and we hope we've covered all the aspects that you really wanted to know. If you're watching this on YouTube and you think we should have done more versus Kailak, etc., that's only because you haven't seen questions from circles. That goes only to the app, and most of the time we are answering questions from you. And if you have the Kailak question, you can bet that somebody on circles also asked that Kailak question. If there's anything that we missed out, do not feel like there is no way to get information. The easiest thing is leave us a comment. We prefer you do this on the app because we built the app comment system to feel like a conversation, so we can track conversations, we can have a back and forth, which is much more difficult to do elsewhere, but we do answer most of our comments on the app, on YouTube, sometimes on Instagram, sometimes on Twitter. So feel free, call us out wherever you need to, saying, hey, I have a question, and we'll see what we can do about it. And now I think we've been here long enough. So thank you so much for watching. This is MotorInc First.